The Galactic Academy's recreational dome hummed with the quiet chatter of a dozen different species, their translators creating a symphony of overlapping conversations. Jasmine walked through the prismatic corridors with the casual confidence of someone who had survived worse than academic politics. Her human physiology compact, efficient, lethal drew the usual stares from her fellow cadets. Deathworlders always did. Kevin sat at a corner table in the cafeteria, his datapad displaying tactical simulations that would have given most species migraines. Humans processed information differently, their predator brains built for split-second decisions in life-or-death scenarios. It made them excellent soldiers and terrible at following the Academy's collaborative learning philosophy. Another human, hissed Vexter, a Krillian whose species had dominated galactic military academies for 3 centuries before Earth's admission. His chitinous plates clicked together in agitation as he watched Jasmine collect her nutrition pack. They multiply like bacteria. 6 other cadets surrounded Vexter, Tabula Hurlin, 2 Xanathia Corvian, and 2 more all combat track students, all nursing grudges against the Deathworlders who had shattered decades of established rankings within months of arrival. Jasmine felt their eyes on her back. Predator recognition was hardwired into human neurology, a gift from a planet that had spent millions of years trying to kill her ancestors. She didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge them. She simply calculated exits, weapon distances, and threat levels while appearing to casually examine her meal. Kevin noticed them too. He set down his datapad and stretched, his movements deliberately loose and Humans had learned long ago that appearing harmless bought precious seconds. His homeworld had been Australia continent that had weaponized evolution itself. If Earth was a death's world, Australia was its nightmare mode. The confrontation came during the transit to the Gravity Training Center. The corridor was empty, the monitoring drones conveniently malfunctioning. Vexter and his pack had planned this carefully, or so they thought. Deathworlder Vexter clicked, his translator rendering the word with appropriate contempt. You walk our halls like you own them. Your species needs to learn respect. Jasmine stopped walking. She turned slowly, her brown eyes tracking each opponent with the dispassionate precision of a targeting computer. 7 against 1, poor odds for them. I don't want trouble, she said, her voice level. Humans had evolved to communicate while simultaneously processing combat variables, a quirk that unnerved most species. Walk away, the Hurlin laughed, a wet gurgling sound. His species was known for their thick hides and regenerative abilities. The Deathworlder threatens us. She thinks her fragile bones can— He never finished a sentence. Jasmine moved. Human muscle fibers were denser than most species realized. Their fast-twitch responses evolved for a gravity well that would cripple most galactic citizens. She closed the distance to the Hurlin in 0.3 seconds faster. Then his nervous system could process the threat. A palm strike caught him in the breathing aperture with precisely calculated force. Not enough to kill, but enough to collapse his primary lung. He went down gasping. The 2 Xanathi rushed her simultaneously, assuming numerical advantage mattered. Humans had spent their entire evolutionary history outnumbered by predators, prey, and rival tribes. They'd learned to make it count. Jasmine ducked under the first Xanathi's swing, used his momentum to throw him into his companion, and delivered 2 rapid strikes, 2 nerve clusters that evolution had conveniently placed in similar locations across most bipedal species. Both collapsed, their bodies temporarily disconnected from their motor functions. 3 seconds elapsed. Kevin arrived at Vexter and the remaining Krillians moved to engage. The Australian didn't hesitate. His species had survived megafauna extinctions, toxic wildlife, and the planet's apparent determination to kill anything foolish enough to evolve there. A few Academy bullies barely registered. The first Krillian learned that chitin, while impressive by galactic standards, was tissue paper to a human who understood leverage. Kevin's lock shattered the alien's elbow joint with a crack that echoed down the corridor. The Corvian, finally processing the threat, tried to flee. Humans were pursuit predators, evolved to run prey to exhaustion across endless plains. Jasmine caught him in 4 strides, swept his legs, and left him groaning on the deck. Vexter and the last Krillian backed against the wall, their threat displays suddenly meaningless against predators who had climbed to the top of a food chain that had included animals that could kill them with a single bite. You started this, Kevin said quietly. His heart rate hadn't even elevated significantly, another Deathworlder quirk that the medical staff found disturbing. We're finishing it. Deathworlders, Vexter whispered, the translator catching the tremor in his voice. Wrong, Jasmine corrected, stepping forward. Humans, we didn't get to the top of our food chain by being prey. Remember that. 7 seconds total, 7 opponents down or retreating. The monitoring drones mysteriously restored function just as Academy security arrived, their sensors documenting the aftermath but curiously missing the actual confrontation. The investigation concluded what everyone already knew: the Deathworlders had defended themselves. Excessive force was noted, then quietly dismissed when someone pointed out that excessive was subjective when you came from a planet classified as Class 12 hazardous. Later, in the medical bay where the 7 aggressors nursed injuries that would heal but leave lasting impressions. The Academy's commandant reviewed the incident report. "Remind me," he said to his aide, "why we thought accepting humans was controversial." The aide, a veteran of the expansion wars, smiled. "Because no one wants to admit they're afraid of a species that considers their own planet home." The commandant nodded, watching security footage of Jasmine and Kevin walking calmly away from the confrontation, their body language suggesting they'd just completed a minor inconvenience rather than dismantled 7 opponents in seconds. "Deathworlders," he murmured, "the galaxy will never be the same." He was right.